Hi, welcome to the director's cut of the hiking videos that I made this summer. I will be talking through some of the behind the scenes and other things that I didn't get to include in the video. Let's go.
This is day 37, and we are close to the end now of the San Juan's range, and then we're going to get into the collegiates of Colorado, and I think at this point too we're starting to hit more of these kind of snow patches like you can see in the video cover. Some snow patches were short, some patches were long, and the issue with the snow patches was you didn't really know how much you'd be post-holing if you walked through them. So we were frequently walking big, big curves to try to avoid getting in the snow. And in this case here, we are cutting down. I think the trail was over here, and we're just cutting down directly into the valley and then up the other side, trying to avoid the snow. And sometimes that made it very steep. Sometimes we were doing a lot of bushwhacking, and I think that's what we did on this day. It is day 37 hiking the Continental Divide Trail and Great Divide Trail combined. Another day, another pre-dawn departure wearing cold, wet socks. I always try to put them on last and do everything from inside my sleeping bag. So what you saw in that last shot with the sock was it's a neoprene sock that I wear. I usually wear that when I'm going to be in water or doing a lot of fording. And I also wear it in snow because hiking in the snow, you inevitably will get your shoes and socks wet from the snow melting from the heat of your foot. So I wear the neoprene socks so it stays a little bit warmer even when it's wet. Other people use other systems. I know a lot of people use sealskins as well, but that's what I like to use. The problem is it's very, it doesn't dry out. None of your socks will dry out. So I just wear those socks during the day, and then I take them off at night, switch into dry socks, and put those socks inside of a rain skirt, and put that against my chest and sleep with that in my sleeping bag so that it doesn't freeze overnight. And hopefully it also stays a little bit warmer so that when I put my feet in it in the morning, it's not so cold. But usually once I put it in my shoes, it's cold again, and I'm walking and my feet are really cold, so cold that it can sometimes hurt. This morning it didn't quite freeze well. We were breaking through the thin crust, and the snow in these woods formed lumps that we had to navigate with snowshoes. So what I'm trying to show in this clip here is how steep the snow is. Like you can see my snowshoe is not lying flat on the snow. It's because the hill is like this. And that's really challenging to do in snowshoes because if you think about it, like if your feet are at an angle like this, or I guess like this, if you're thinking about your ankle is supporting all of this weight at this kind of awkward angle. And as you do that, it's going to get really strained, and that's what was starting to happen for my feet here. Particularly, I think in this case, it was my right ankle that was starting to develop an overuse injury in the tendon right across the front of your ankle. One thing about through hiking is you can't bring anything that you'd be sad about if it got destroyed. Today I managed to rip at my rain jacket and so beautiful. I just love seeing all the mountains like that in the distance. It was stunning, even though it's also really, really hard hiking. Pants when I slipped at the end of a steep traverse that was too icy to kick steps into. You can see Slide is like falling into each step that he's taking, and that is pretty much what we were dealing with every single snow patch that we walked through at this point. But too soft to grip well on. I slid maybe 5 feet on the snow and 15 feet on the rocks. I wasn't hurt, but my body was very stressed. So what I was saying here, essentially, like, there was a traverse that was quite steep. The snow was not really holding very well, and I think I was in my spikes, and it wasn't warm enough to kick steps into the snow effectively, but it was also I think there was like too much texture in the snow to effectively like get a good grip in there. It's like soft texture, but also not soft enough that you could actually kick steps and make a little platform for yourself in it. Slide just slid directly down like a controlled slide intentionally down to the base and then walked over and then hiked back up. And he was hiking back up when I started sliding, and I did not go the way that Slide did because I tend to not want to I don't want to climb back up, so I'd rather just maintain my elevation and take my time. But I was so close to the end. I was like like a couple steps away from the end of that snow traverse. So I lost focus a little bit, relaxed, and didn't get a good grip in, and then started sliding. And I only slid on the snow for maybe 5 feet because I really was that close to where the rocks were. If you can imagine, like, you're like walking on the snow like this, and there's a little bit of trail exposed here, so you're kind of crossing the snow patch. You're super close to getting down to where the trail starts again, where the rocks are exposed again. But I slid down that and then started sliding on the rocks as well for about 15 feet, which is pretty scary because that hurts. But luckily I didn't actually like cut anything. I had everything on because it was so cold that morning. I did, however, rip up my rain jacket and my wind pants, and maybe a little bit of a small scrape. And then here in this clip here, where I've frozen it, is slide, I think, leading after that point. I think I was pretty stressed, and like the adrenaline is very high, and you can see that we're not walking on a trail here. We're just walking through the woods at this point, trying to cut through, and we are post-holing a lot. You can see his very deep snowshoe prints. And you're seeing like the edge here of a tree well, so you're trying to walk on that ridge line of the tree well without falling into the tree well, and also crossing over logs in your snowshoes. Yeah, it's not easy going.
And I didn't have an appetite for a while. We did a lot of post-holing, mostly with slide leading. When I set my own track, I got my snowshoe stuck 4 times in a row and even broke my trekking.
I forgot about this. This is the same day. Oh my God. So I on that stretch of trail that we were avoiding by going down this way here through what is just the woods, I picked a different line than Slide did, and wherever I went, for some reason, I was like getting stuck, and I got my snowshoe stuck 4 times. This is my snowshoe stuck down here, and I'm trying to dig it out again. Now this is like my 4th or 5th time digging myself out of the snow like this. So at this point, I'm laughing, and I remember Slide kept moving, thinking that I was going to be fine, and then he later on started to get worried because I was getting stuck so often, and he didn't know where I was. So he was like, "Hey, are you okay?" Like yelling for me, and I was like, "I'm good, I'm just stuck." And then he started coming back for me, and I think he was worried that I was hurt again. But then when he found me, I was laughing, and I think he was a little. I think this is like the one time that maybe Slide is more annoyed at me. And I asked him about this later on, and he said that what he remembers is he remembers thinking like, okay, we got to start pushing a little bit now because I'm starting to run out of time, and what is taking her so long? Like, is she digging in the snow for berries? Like, what is happening? And he comes back, and I'm stuck again. So yeah. I think this is the point at which Slide started thinking like, okay, I might need to start hiking alone.
Trying to get out. The problem is Slide has about 8 inches or 20 centimeters on me, so I'm doing little lunges to follow him. The man is all legs. Once I lunged into his next post hole and banged up my shin against the ice crust that he had broken through. He's very...
Yeah, so sometimes when I was following his steps, because his steps are so much longer and wider than mine are, that like I would just slide in and then break through and then just do a complete lunge and bang up my shin against the edge of the crust that he had broken through. And that was, very painful.
Kindly shortened his stride for me, which is hard because your natural stride length is your most efficient movement. Luckily today we descended out of the San Juans and out of the snow. We hope to have a big day on dirt tomorrow. See you then.
Okay, so that's a little confusing, but so on this day we got out of the snow, and if you can see there, like I was pouring this food on a countertop. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but I poured this food actually into the jar in Lake City on day 36 morning, and I didn't actually end up eating that meal until day 38, and that's why that looks like that. But yeah, random counter, and then but yeah, and then this was the day that we actually got out of the snow and were finally hiking in dirt again, like low enough to hike in dirt for a little while, which was super, super nice because then we have 2 days of like mostly dirt to hike in, and we'll get to go a lot faster. And that's day 37.